The dimensions for Malkuth. You like my haircut? You guys will get to see it later on. Obviously, I'm working backwards. I have to pull this up. Currently, the dimensions for Malkuth are on my website page. You go to course material, Kabbalah, and you go to Malkuth. It's probably on the general pearls page, so let's look. But what will happen is I'll create a Malkuth pearls pages and I will label it dimensions. Let's see where it's at right now. Yeah, how to build a dragon. So we start with how to build a dragon. We start with Malkuth. I'm working backwards because I wasn't planning on doing these dimensions on the video. And then as I progressed and got up into Yesod and Hod, we started running these dimensions inside the egg, the dragon egg. This is being a supplemental dimensional mastery class. I think it would be futile for me to not be educating you on the dimensions. If my eyesight gets weird, it's because I'm looking at the computer screen instead of you. Don't worry, sometimes my eyesight's always weird. Okay, we're gonna start at quadruple 0. Most of you guys, even Star, so fucking lame, she starts at 7. 7. Most of you guys are so lame, you start at 1. I, on the other hand, are educated. Go dimension 0, dimension double 0, dimension triple 0, dimension quadruple 0. You guys can start there. Those zeroing out dimensions help Omega. They provide the space to create something new. So I'm going to start at dimension 0. Nah, we'll start at quadruple 0. The only reason why I'd start at 0 and then go to quadruple 0 is to give you the lesson for making it deeper. But we'll start at quadruple 0 and work our way up. We go to dimension 20 in Malkuth. These zeros to 10, you could consider the clipeth. The clip on a new path. These dimensions are the programming dimensions. Basic. The rest are the magics. Dimension quadruple 0. This is where Kali Ren hangs out and why nobody likes her. I stay in the I am nothing space. Because of this, you see that I will only have a handful of students. I do not ever and will never attract hype or glitz or glamour because I zeroed out. What I do attract is quality. and humility, and people on real, deep spiritual paths. I attract old souls. I do not know of one new soul that would ever be attracted to me. Ever. They would find me boring, redundant, and not sparkly enough. So I say dimension quadruple zero. She is effective at creation and change and can take care of things on the other sides of the veils. If you want to do deep shadow work, hell work, you need these dimension zeros, period. If you want to do God level work, you need to go deeper. Dimension quadruple zero keeps you safer through the hell realm work. Dimension triple zero. This is where you're finally solid. You're solid in your zero out component. So quadruple zero is you're just more solid. So dimension double zero is kind of a cheap dimension. Triple zero is you're finally solid. Keep going. You can actually purify, begin to purify there. Dimension double zero is your beginning of creating the portals. Different type of portal. Think hell realm portals. No dimension zero? It's not enough. Lucifer likes to hang out in just zero. That's why he's scary. Double zero gets past Lucy, but Lucy can still grab in there. You need to learn how to go to double zero before you can create nothing or create out of nothing. I'd say be better than Lucifer. So Lucifer's magic's pretty interesting because it's like sharp as a sword. But there is a difference between God's magic and Lucifer's magic. God's magic is just way higher quality, way higher intention, sharper, stronger. Lucifer's magic is really sharp for a dragon. Beautiful. Like a ballerina jumping over razor blades. Okay? You can be better than Lucy, but understand this. You need to be an older soul than Lucy. Probably. All right, dimension zero. This dimension sucks. Literally, it sucks. Sucks. It's yin. You need it. You need. Most of you guys don't get it. You have to be nothing to reach dimension zero. You have to really be nothing to reach dimension quadruple zero. When you're nothing, it's easier to not be afraid of Lucifer. Because when you're nothing, You understand Lucifer. Dimension 0 is death. It is no thing. It's just... In dimension quadruple 0, you can like freeze the dimension timelines. It's rad, but also crazy making. Okay? It's kind of like how Professor X could like freeze a room. So you need to get to that level if you want to freeze time and space. To create something out of nothing, you first need to understand nothing. Dimension 1. Potentiality. Potential. You can feel that dimension coming through. It usually feels really good and really solid. It helps you like fill your body in with like matter. Like 1 is I matter. One of the best teachers for this dimension, when I was learning about these lower ones, was Amy Poehler. Watching her on Parks and Recreation. She was so grounded, so consuming of the camera. She mattered. It wasn't like her makeup mattered. It wasn't like the way her hair was. It didn't matter. It was her. It was her presentation. It was the way she carried her energy. So she was the teacher for Dimension 1. Take a deep breath and absorb it. Dimension 2. This one goes for Misty Copeland. She was the next teacher. Dimension 2. Creation and creativity and psychicism. Baseline intuition. This is a strength dimension. I watched her documentary. I realized the level of transcendence and skill and mastery she had to exhibit to achieve what she achieved. And the patience, and the balancing of like micro muscles. It's beyond anything. Dimension 2. Dimension 3. And you can feel it. I'm trying to remember if there was another teacher for Dimension 2, and I don't remember or recall it. Babaji had me focusing on these dimensions, these first 10, for a year. And he gave me the teachers for each. Dimension 3 is form. During Dimension 3, I was forced to watch The West Wing, and I believe I was forced to watch Newsroom. So I'm pretty sure it was Aaron Sorkin. And maybe not him, but his brain and the words. And his script writing for creating high form. Erudite, but also able to reach a mass level of consciousness. So it was inspiring, beautiful, poetic, and then not too full of itself. Like many artists become. So he had reached a mastery, a pinnacle of presentation and delivery and reach. Dimension 3 goes to him. Dimension 4. Oh, Dimension 3, just form. Okay. Dimension 4. Time, cycles, nature. The teaching on this was Mother Mary. Dimension 5, magic, healing, feeling. That's star. Star is the icon for Dimension 5. Dimension 6. We've got Adele. Who else? Listen, soul. When you live in Dimension 6, life sucks. Everything is dark and beautiful. And everyone wants you to be happy, and you're like, I live for my soul. Nothing's happy. They want you to live from like Dimension 3 and 4. Because that's more normal. I live in Dimension 6. I speak from Dimension 3 and 4 most of the time. And when I get crazy and say weird shit, then I'm speaking from Dimension 5 usually. And when I get in your face, I'm speaking from 2 and 1. Dimension 7, light. I know this is where Star would do the Mother Mary, but there's a reason why I put Mother Mary in 4. So light. Man. If you fill up a room, if you want to do soul retrieval on somebody, you egg rid their house, okay? And you layer at least to dimension 6. And then you start to feel where people's soul has been cut off from them. Because you're literally filling that egg with the soul potential connections. If everybody like had their soul back on this planet, everyone would sound as wise as Adele at the baseline. Just to give you an understanding. Like that depth, the depth of her music would be like the baseline of everybody's reality and brain. That's an enlightened planet. Alanis Morissette, soul. Okay. Deep, and then go deeper. Star, soul. But I want to give you some other people too. Dimension. So yeah, the soul retrieval. Really good. You would do it daily. You don't do it once and then leave them. You do it day after day after day until it really gets in. You might even pay me for a session to help. And I would do it once and then you guys do it 30 million times. Because you guys need the practice and I need to teach people to fish. Dimension 7, light. So this dimension starts getting cool because the goo from the dimension 6 will start to come in and it will just feel like, oh, I can breathe. That's my soul. And then dimension 7 will come in and it will feel like sparkly vanilla ice cream. And it's just light. And then it just layers your entire body and you're like, oh, that feels good. And it just, you fill the entire egg with it. So you can either think of it as, I like to think of it as both like dragon shit for fertilization, God's cum, or ice cream, or honey being dipped into the egg, or period. So it doesn't matter to me. Sometimes it's just creative. Man. God's fertility juice. That makes me laugh. I don't know what's more embarrassing is how immature you guys are or how much I actually think of it like that and it's like normal. It's just... Yeah, you guys don't understand. Dragons defecating on you. Just to give you the juice. Vomiting on you guys. Just abject. It's a word all of you guys need to know the definition of. All right. Dimension 8. Now into the past. So now into the past. This is really important. Now into the past. That means all your astral lives that are in the future are not in the future. They're all in dimension 8 and they're in the past. Because that has not happened yet. It's all delusion. It's all just dimension 8. So that's now into the past. Because the future is dimension 10, where we write our future. So we don't believe in prophecy unless it's self-fulfilling prophecy through the now. We code in dimension 10. We code our reality. We code and write our future in the now. So that's the difference between 8 and 10. Okay, dimension 9, celestial and celestial guidance. So this is where like Mother Andromeda and some of the dragons come through, etc., etc. So higher level intelligences. Higher. So like, is Lucifer dimension 9 or is Lucifer dimension 6? And then, right, so I'll say the dragons are in dimension 9 because they showed up in dimension 9 to teach about dimension 9. High spirit guides and cosmic devas, like Archangel Kamael and Mother Andromeda. Okay, so higher level. If you guys have crap like astral spirit guides, like dead people, that's like dimension 4 and maybe 5. Like the Pleiadians are not dimension 9. They're dimension 5, and some of them are 6, and some of them are 7. But Mother Andromeda, who is a galaxy, is dimension 9. The dragons, who are masters, dimension 9. Okay? Bob G, dimension 9. He's the fucking master. 9. He's got a 9th dimensional self, and I can feel it. All right. Then we have the magic dimensions. Now these are diagnostics for the body. So here's where Malkuth begins. All right. Dimension 11, bones. This is where you're being one. In the bones. Yeah. If you really want to look at somebody's Akashic records, see where their bone dimension says. Dimension 12, muscles. And the difference between the bone is like earth. And it's like the difference between dimension 1 and dimension 2. All right, so my Amy Poehler might have been 1, but Misty Copeland was 2. Okay, so that's a difference between 11 and 12. So bones, and then muscle is the strength, right? But it's not the chi. It's the potentiality of chi. Muscles. And we have dimension 13, nerves. So this is the nervous system. And how you communicate. My central nervous system actually looks like it's doing good. Looks on fire, and it doesn't look burnt out. It looks a little bit like it's a little bit overworking, but it looks pretty stable. My muscular system, on the other side, looks atrophied, which means I need to go back and do some yoga. My bones, however, are looking pretty strong. So if you can see, that's what's going on. Okay? This is how you do diagnostics on people. Then we go, the circulatory system is a little bit on me, a little lethargic. So again, I need to go back and do some yoga and maybe some running. A little bit. Circulatory system, dimension 14. Respiratory system, dimension 15. Looks good now. That used to be really weak on me. Digestive system, 16. It says, I'm self-indulgent. I need to focus on my clients more than my own work. That's what my digestive system says. So maybe I need to be doing like my design work for a pet food company more than my Kabbalah class. And then it balances out. And then it says, yeah, I'm balanced then. So then we have, so dimension 16 is digestive. It's where you're digesting information and then also putting out. So it includes all of your digestive organs. Does it include the kidneys? No, that's urinary. So it includes the teeth, the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the pancreas, the liver, the gallbladder, the small intestine, the big intestine, which is the colon, and then it also includes the appendix. Okay, so that's the digestive. I'm trying to think if I missed any. Endocrine. Okay. There is one system that needed to be included, and that's the immune system. I'm trying to think if that is going to go in invasive or in endocrine. It might be good in endocrine, but it also might be good in invasive. All right, endocrine system. Pineal, pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, and we have adrenals, ovaries, and then prostate, testes, right? Those are our, and then we have the pancreas. Sometimes I forget the pancreas in the endocrine system because it's the digestive system as well. So the endocrine system is like the end of crying system. So when your endocrine system is properly flowing, which is like, I look at it and it goes green light. Yeah. That means I can handle everything. So I'm not crying myself to sleep every night. Okay. So that means I could be really sad and still not crying myself to sleep every night. And then I can also shift my emotions into joy or happiness or surrender. Okay. Dimension 18, reproductive. I have a friend, an Archangel Kamael in training, who apparently got kicked off of Reddit for these statements that are like, you guys really want to be spiritually progressive or do a planetary service? Get a vasectomy. Stop replicating stupid babies. We don't need, basically, we don't need any more stupid muggles on this planet. And apparently he was kicked off of Reddit for it. Yeah, we have 5 years left. 5 good years left, and he's being kicked off of Reddit for controversial statements. It's almost as if smart, intelligent, spiritual people ever say anything against the common grain of society, that they're tossed out the window. Reproductive. As I say, let this one go. Who has this grid? Me and all the dragons. We will see who else. So the people that should be reproducing on this planet are the intelligent, magical people. The Christed people. Not the run-of-the-mill muggles continuing to be parasites to society. And to a planet. Dimension 19. Lymphatic. This is the detox. My lymphatic system needs some work, which means I need to run. I've been walking 2 to 3 hours a day and doing slava. And if my lymphatic system needs to do some work, your guys' lymphatic system needs to do some work. The lymphatic system works like the circulatory system, but not. Okay. Circulatory system has a pump. It's the heart. It pumps everything throughout the body. The lymphatic system has no pump. You moving is the pump. That's why when you work out, you sweat. It's a form of detox, and the lymphatic system works with that system. Ooh, yeah. We have dimension 20. Lymphatic system also works with the urinary. So it takes the toxins out of the blood and then you pee them out. Dimension 20, urinary. This one, bleed and burn. Just let it. Just letting go of everything you're pissed off at. Just letting it go. Letting it go. I starved to death on a beach. I had to let that go. You guys have to let your stuff go. I cannot tell you how insulting it is for any one of you to sit there and tell me how angry I am, but I see your urinary system and it's all blocked up. Or I see your guys' bodies and it's filled with cancer. You guys are all flaming hypocrites. Just because you're not expressing your emotions doesn't mean that your body isn't digesting it, because you're stuffing yourself constantly with cigarettes and alcohol and narcissism. I will piss all over any and every man with money and no humanity. The idea that there are rich men on this planet, as this planet is dying, and they're not doing everything in their power, everything, to create a better world is mind-blowing. They have absolutely no care for anyone with intelligence. They have no care for any of the star seeds. They have no care for anything. They don't care about the animals. They don't even care about the future of their children or their children's children. It's just jaded. If you sit idly by and watch a planet collapse, this is what Melza would say. I can't even go there. That's it. Dimensions for Malkuth. So again, urinary, 20, lymphatic, reproductive, endocrine. So your reproductive is like your ovaries and your fallopian tubes. You should have learned this in sex ed, but if you didn't, that's okay. And the eggs inside your ovaries, and like the uterus and the uterine wall. So that's for a woman. Okay. And then the male reproductive is the prostate and the testicles, the penis. Okay. The semen inside. Digestive, respiratory. Your respiratory system is your lungs, the bronchial tube, and your nose. Circulatory is the heart, the 4 quadrants of the heart. And your blood veins and arteries. Your nervous system is your brain and the nerves. And the central nervous system is mostly focused at your spine, going up through the brainstem and into your brain. The muscles are obviously all over, the bones. And then we have the urinary is the bladder, the urethra, the kidneys, okay? So how healthy your body is going to affect how strong your yesod can be. So if you have an unhealthy Malkuth, you have an unhealthy yesod. So if you have an unhealthy planet, then you have an unhealthy spiritual life on that planet. And Yesod is just the low level of the spiritual life. It doesn't look good, you guys. Doesn't look good. So your first priority, first and foremost, shall be, how do I make a healthy planet and a healthy body? That should be the first priority. That's Malkuth. Anything else is kind of a waste of time if this priority is not taken care of. That's it. Kali Run out.